And what is up, guys? Technical Stinkers here, checking in on our little 3D print operation for today. I own a small business and it has nothing to do with 3D printing, but I'm trying 3D printing here at home to see if I can do some side hustle, passive income type thing with this, because I know a lot of people are interested in passive income, maybe a lot of resolutioners looking to start a business in 2025. Maybe 3D printing is the lane for you. So watch along with me, learn along with me. Maybe you can pick up something from my mistakes, teach me something in the process, or just have a good time learning along the way. What am I working on today? Well, if you've been following the channel, you know I got a lot of different things going on, and I got all the printers in service. Well, a few of them finished up, but all of them have been chooching all night. So let's see what's on the plates. All right, so Cobra 1, 2, 3, and 4, all doing the same thing, and it's our Hideaway box for the, if you saw the other content that I've been doing or been following along, you saw that I've been doing this Hideaway air vent secret stash type thing. So I got a box there, 0.4 nozzle at a 0.28 layer height, 1 millimeter nozzle at a 0.7 layer height, and 0.4 down here. So these had a couple filament runouts, so they're at various stages of completion, but all the same model, all this 14, it's just a 14 square box that fits those air registers, and these are so I can put them in my stores, because that other business that I talk about are smoke shops, and we already sell similar sort of products there that are Hideaway stashes, things like that. So I think they have a spot in the store, so I want to send at least one out to each store to kind of put in, and I've got to try to figure out how to make it into a retail product versus just an air vent with a black box on the back, you know, some kind of sticker or something that indicates that this is a product and you should buy it. Pricing will be a lot lower in stores too, because I don't have to worry about shipping fees, Etsy fees, all that kind of other stuff. So working on those there. Over here on the Soval, got to get out our OSHA approved step ladder here. I'm 7 feet tall, but I still need this to get up here. On the Soval, if you remember yesterday, our hippopotamus, we did another test, and you may note I printed it in a new orientation. So we're going to take a look at that in closer detail when we get back to the office. Over here on the P1P, our Stinkerette model, I was talking about it yesterday. Karinka did this model just for me as a channel mascot. Not sure if it's actually going to go the distance for that, but I wanted to print an example for her in case she wants to use it in her marketing material or anything, or just to see an example of it in real life. So Stinkerette is actually coming out pretty nice. I did it big. She's getting up here to her face. Now this is kind of like a furry anthropomorph sort of thing. It's a skunk, but a girl with added features, sitting on a big pillow. It's coming out pretty nice. And over here on the A1, our next in our series of skulls, it is treacherous one-handed plate pull. Mint. This is obviously a sea lion. No, it's a raven. Quoth the raven, nevermore. So going through that pack of skulls, I was talking about that yesterday. I got like a big, you know, multi-pack of skulls to kind of just keep hammering out the skulls, throw them, sneeze them all out there, and see if I get some action on skulls. Doing it again in the bamboo matte desert tan PL8 because it has more of a bone vibe. Now the only thing different about this is that when I looked up real raven skulls, did I say raven? It's not a crow, it's a raven skull. Is it a raven? I gotta look it up. When I looked up ravens, how do I not do the RFK thing? These are my pet ravens.
Hey everybody, these are my two ravens. They're not actually mine.
Well, they're not actually my ravens. They have a black beak because their beaks, I guess, grow out of their skull, and you know, they're keratin or whatever. The beaks are black, but there's no way to do like a gradient into black. It would have to be like a sharp demarcation. And I was like, you know what, let's just go with all one color. So this is actually twice as big as a raven skull. So I'll put that in the marketing material. This is a 2:1 scale, 2/1 scale raven skull. Just printed it with no real modifications, just kind of played with the orientation, and it came out pretty good. I have to pop the supports off that, so we'll take that in the office and look at it. And since it's off the plate, let's take the opportunity to put on our Biku cryo grip plates. Get any money for this. I'm not sponsored by them. Someone mentioned in the comments to get one of these plates because they're really good. And so I'm doing that. And I'll probably get maybe one of those super tack plates for the P1P like Mountain Maker has. Well, let's just go ahead and pop that bad boy on there. Looks cooler, that's for sure. Boom. So we'll try that out. And we have a completion over here on the Orange Storm Giga. Oh, strongest man alive. Don't want to drop that. All right, so our floor vase thing is complete over here on the Orange Storm Giga. Thoroughly impressed all the way through with how it came out. This is a live plate pull. I haven't looked at this thing close. I just saw that it was done. So let's pop it off, set it down here on the ground. So this is a nice little floor vase sort of thing. Again, sort of a funky organic model. But let me ask you a question. Is there anything more rage-inducing, anything, than having a slight fuck up at the very, very, very end of a very large, very filament heavy print? Is there? I don't know, because look at this. You have got to be shitting me. So I'm not entirely sure. I guess it's just too steep of an overhang, or not enough lightning, or did I even do lightning on this? But came out just fine all the way through. And then I have this gap here. I am just going to roll with it because this thing is super solid. This is not going to spread. You know, people talk about getting a 3D pen, printing pen to kind of fill in or do something like that. The problem is that, you know, if you've done work with Bondo or really any kind of surface fix for stuff, is that if you fix this, it will be more noticeable. It would then necessitate like surfacing the entire model to make it kind of match and blend it out. Now, this didn't take a whole lot of filament. Let's say 3 kilos. So it's like 40 bucks worth of filament. Let's just say it's 40 bucks worth of filament. Pretty striking. Shipping cost is probably pretty heavy, even though it ships not with oversized charges. My thinking is that I just roll with it because I gotta keep the Giga clear for that sponsored print and just learn from this on future iterations. You know, overall the model looks pretty good. We're gonna take it and look at it closer. The overhangs underneath, some of where it kind of bridged, you know, a little squirrely, but certainly could pick those off. But, you know, this section on top, you know, I think it's just, you know, you put the note in the listing that has this little gap in it. And that's it. I mean, that's, you know, just price accordingly. Because when I was looking at other floor bases on Etsy of a similar height, they were, you know, into the hundreds of dollars. Now there are some where they take a picture, it's like they're trying to make it seem like it's a lot bigger than it is. But when you start looking at the dimensions and the overall height, it's like 15 inches tall. Like, what are you gonna do with that? That's an actual floor base. You know, this is, you know, 30 something high. So, you know, that's for real, and that should be at that $100 price point, $120 price point. So even with shipping, it's maybe $20, $30 rip, hopefully anyway. So I count that as a win, as like a learning experience, like most of the failures. But you know, it's kind of frustrating that it's looking great, and then at 11 hours and 59 minutes, it's like, all right, I'm gonna decide to screw up. Now, maybe in the future when we do Giga prints, we just slice off everything but the very tippity top and print that just to make sure that it's gonna come out the way we want it. So kind of a bittersweet sort of print. Looks cool, very cool from this distance. I mean, that's pretty cool, right? But overall, it's like, you know, come on. And so our Raven skull here, my Ravens, popping the supports off. I didn't do any support modification to this, just kind of went for it. It seemed like a pretty simple model, and I don't know if it's just gaining experience or whatnot from prints, you know, kind of looking at some of the areas where I thought might be suspect. It seemed like it would be okay. Plus the A1, you know, kind of delivers a little more consistent results on these things. Now, if I switch over to the Giga, you know, maybe there are some areas that I'd like to kind of focus on a little more. Not a lot of supports on this either, as opposed to like, you know, say that Hippo skull. You know, that thing was basically on a raft when I had it laid down. Yeah, peeling off the underside looks pretty clean. This is all one model too, so I won't have to worry about gluing anything together. Seems decently solid. Yeah, you know, it'd be nice if it had that black gradient effect flowing in. And I guess I could like do like all of the beacon black, but there's no real like clear spot to demarcate it. I just have to like decide where the line is and then try to make a crispy line. So yeah, I think doing it in one color, just bone color like this, is probably better. You know, this is a smaller one, so I can offer it a little cheaper. And again, I'm gonna do that slate, those slate, laser engraved slate placards, those like label placards on there. But very cool model, doing it, you know, at like 45 degrees, made it come out pretty good. The overhang looks nice. A little squirrely on the top there, maybe a candidate for some adaptive layer height. I did this at a 0.2 because it's a smaller model. It kind of came out a little quicker. But yeah, impressed. You know, I don't know that this one's really a candidate for like the Giga, unless I want to like, you know, enormous crow skull. This one, if you saw yesterday's content, I did them both face down, and it had to generate so many supports on the bottom, it was basically on a raft. So what I did was I kiltered it up and printed it in two separate parts to where it would just go up like this, and I kind of angled it a little bit to where these tusks wouldn't need any support coming up. Did this on the Soval, so I realized that I'm gonna have to retool my support settings. And then the jaw, I was concerned previously because the jaw's in two sections. I guess Hippo's lower jaw doesn't connect, you know, back and forth. It's just like cartilage or something between them. So what I did was I just put a primitive in here, beveled the edges on like just a rectangle, just to kind of hold the jaw in its proper orientation so where it fits into the top just fine. So Soval supports, you know, I run the Soval a little hot because of the speed. So I'm a little worried about it being, the supports being kind of on there. You know, when we do it in the matte PLA, the supports aren't nearly as affixed. All right, whew. Top section complete, bottom section complete. How's it fit? Let's see. How does a Hippo skull come together? Hey, looks pretty nice. Crispy clean. You can't really see a lot of the detail, I think, because of the black, but lines up good. That primitive holds everything in place. I'm gonna test it on a flat surface here. Let's test it on a flat surface here. Yeah, I think that'll look pretty nice. I was thinking too, for a lot of these skulls that have big teeth, big canines, big tusks, you know, it'd be nice to be able to isolate those and pull them out, print those in white. So I have like the bone, beige bone color, and then like white, bleached white tusks, just to kind of give it an extra vibe. But that's kind of like, you know, a whole extra effort thing. My play is the size. So looking at this, you know, probably do some support work, kind of working on it, but I think I got a winner printing them like this instead of like this or like this or like this or like this. Just printing them up on the edges. Now it kind of, you know, leaves me vulnerable on the back side here to marring and stuff, but that's overall less contact surface area. And just go through with the torch and kind of blend it out a little bit. But overall, pretty cool. So I think we're approaching the point of, for this one, I think the next step with the Hippo skull is to go with like a 1/10 scale or whatever, like about this size, about as big as I can get it on a bamboo version of it in that matte desert tan. And then that's a product. And then, you know, do a big honking version on the Giga, just really as big as I can. So I'm gonna be limited by the Z on that. So if I'm like 30 inches, you know, like that, then the skull is it's gonna be about as big as the T-Rex skull. And then I gotta start factoring in and thinking about like, okay, shipping. You know, like this, if I print it in two parts, this could fit in a box that doesn't have oversized shipping charges, so ships for $100. Same with this, and it's like, okay, I can ship two boxes separately for $200, or I can ship it together for $300. It's just wacky to me how that kind of works. I understand, you know, I understand what they're going for there. And so the FL Sun, we put it through the paces a little bit more yesterday. The T1 Pro over here I gotta tell you that this thing, like I've been saying, it's scary fast. It really is. And so I wanted to get more into exotic materials. I need to order some nylon or some carbon fiber or some ABS or something like that. I did petg on it yesterday. I printed a couple brackets for the Cobras to hold the runout sensors. I've been meaning to replace them. So I just threw petg on there. It's rapid petg from Elegoo. If you want to buy any, link in the description. If you want to buy a T1 Pro, link to the T1 Pros in the description. But it stamps it out so damn fast. It's unbelievable. This rapid petg, it was going at over 600 millimeters per second, which that's the top rating for this filament based on the spool. But I saw it ramping up and down, you know, well over that. Pieces came out great. Printer came out great. It's loud. That's the only bug I have about it, and I don't really have a place to put it. I got no room in the farm, in the garage for it, unless I figure something out, start putting them in. I like all my printers in the same spot. So I like having it here in the office though for rapid prototyping. It's just so loud. So I have to know, like, you know, if I'm doing video, I can't have this thing running. It's just too loud. So really impressed with it thus far. A lot of comments have been kind of coming in based on my shorts and whatnot over this thing. Yeah, no complaints thus far other than the noise because overall it's performing. So I really need to get some other materials to kind of put it through its paces. Again, if you want to take a look at this thing, link in the description below. Here we go, kapam! So our big floor, I mean, you kind of get the sizing of this thing. Is it kind of a little more clear now? I'm 7 feet tall, right? So this is pretty large. Very cool model. It's from the same guy that did those Charmander models that I was kind of doing previously. He just had this kind of organic vase on there. And I thought, you know, something for big peacock feathers or palm fronds or something like that. All right, hang on, this is a good thumbnail. Got to do the soy face with it. And again, just kind of burns me alive seeing that gap there. I'm just going to we'll just pretend we didn't see it, okay? It's not there. I'll put a picture of it up and I'll put some text on it and I'll make it to where there are no returns or exchanges. Because that's what works, right? There's some areas where it's a little squirrely, but my thinking was that I can just kind of clip this, just kind of clean it up, because I got to heat gun this thing anyway for all the stringiness. And then just kind of heat gun it down and it's fine. You know, it's an organic model and I think you can get away with that a little more on something like that. But super cool. I mean, the Giga is just so capable, you know, because no one's going to be able to print it. I didn't see that. All right, so that's where I didn't have a filament change at all. So I think, yeah, that line right there. So I'm getting that line again. That's what I experienced with the Moa heads. The learning is off the charts when you have a YouTube presence. You know, because you kind of have to think about previous things that you did versus just doing it. That tells me I need to run at a consistent speed all the way through. So if I want to do another one of those, maybe in a different color, consistent speed all the way through, and verify I've got some lightning infill, maybe go 3 wall loops. Maybe that would have prevented that up top. If you know more about that, let me know. Probably want to do a consistent seam as well, because I'm noticing seam here, kind of at various points. Like maybe I just try to find the cleanest way to seam it. You know, maybe try to seam it down and then the inside down. I don't know if I want to go through that effort, but very, very cool model. Very impressed with it. I'm going to clean that up, try to get that, throw that on the Etsy as well, you know, kind of doll it up a little bit. Maybe I'll put that next to a T-Rex skull and take one picture all in one. Maybe I'll, you know, what else can we get rid of some of these fucking D20 cubes while we're at it? You know, these things I'm going to put on closeout. I'm kind of, I think I might cut bait on D20s as well. Just the failure rate's too high. And I know, like, you know, some people saying, like, you know, well, you can go through an extensive design process and get it to where it prints all the time. But I just, like, I'm burned on these things. They're just too hard to print. And for what you get out of them, like $100. I have this listed for $100. This is marble PLA. And, you know, I don't think many people are probably itching to pay $100 for a marble D20. And again, you know, I'm not concerned as much with making $10 prints, especially when they have a high failure rate and take forever to print like this. You know, if I could comfortably charge $200 for this, then sure, but not so much. I'm thinking of just marking these on closeout. Like, I've got 2 D20s left. Just mark them on closeout and just kind of be done with the process. But hey, look at that. We'll make it an all-in-one sort of art. That's art, right? It has no purpose and you can't say it's bad. That's how art, I think anything post-Renaissance is not. I think real art died in the Renaissance, but hey, that's just me. So I'd love to know what you think about everything I got going on here. Love to know what you're working on in the comments below. Be sure to like the video because it's the nice thing to do, and subscribe for more content like this. I'm the Technicals. See you next time.